Okay, welcome everyone. We are going to go ahead and get started. I know we're waiting for a couple more people, but we might as well go ahead and start on time and take a roll call. Thank you all for being here. If you are a commissioner, if you can please make sure to have your camera on. And then when we go through, just let us know that you are the only person in the room, wherever you are. Here's Michael. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see. So Chair Kat Odell and I am here. And I just saw E.P. Michael. Are you there?
I'm here.
Are you alone in the room?
I'm alone in the room.
Thank you so much. Secretary Phillip.
Hi. Yeah, sorry. Still don't, technologically challenged. I'm here and I'm alone in the room.
Thank you. All right, Finance Director Shanda.
Aloha, I am here and I'm alone in the room.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Sandy. I saw her logging in. Oh, there you are, Sandy. You're on mute.
I can't hear you, Sandy.
Not yet. Okay, she's going to log in from her phone. In the meantime, Joe, are you here today? I do not see Joe. Joe Tolbe is not here. Rocco.
Here.
Are you alone in the room?
I am alone in the room.
Thank you, Rocco. And Rick.
Yes, I am here alone in the room.
Fantastic. And Sandy, I don't see you logged in by your phone yet, so I'm going to come back. Oh, you are now? Okay. Oh, I'm admitting it. There we go. All right, Sandy, are you here and alone? Not hearing anything yet.
I am here and I'm alone.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. And from the Department of Education, Beth Schimmelfennig, are you here? Do not see Beth. Let's see. Camaron, Dr. Camaron Miyamoto, are you here from UH?
I am here and I am alone.
Thank you. David Rodriguez. Not here. Signe, are you here? Department of Human Resources?
Yes, I'm here and I'm alone.
Oh, there you are. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Jonathan Kimura, are you here?
Hello, I'm here. I'm alone in the room.
Thank you. And Thaddeus Pham, I think I saw you come on.
Yeah, hi, Commissioner. Thaddeus Pham, he, him, and I am alone.
Fantastic. Okay, and then we have our Commission Secretary, Devin.
Hi, yes, I'm here and I'm alone.
Thank you. And she is at DHS. Thank you very much. And then who else do we have joining us today? Do we have, let's see, Rashi?
Hello.
Rashi, welcome. And then I see Janice. Hi, Janice.
Hi.
Nice to have you. And Marguerite.
Hi, I'm sitting in on behalf of Indivisible Leeward Oahu.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. And Celine.
Hi, I'm alone.
Thank you, Celine. And then we have Erin Lau. And she told me she's here already, but. Okay. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Sorry.
I think Randy is here too.
Oh, did I miss somebody? I'm so sorry. Oh, Randy. Hi.
Sorry, aloha team. How are you?
Great. Thanks for being here. Okay, we're going to start off with our members' shares and concerns. So commissioners, who would like to start?
I'll start, if that's okay.
Okay, thanks, Michael.
In your board packet, the first thing up there is the SAVE Act. Unfortunately, that passed the House, and unfortunately, Ed Case voted for it. Well, the big push was pointing out the married women that took their cisgender. Usually, they're talking about cisgendered married couples, straight couples taking their husband's women taking their husband's last name. But this is also going to negatively impact the trans community and any queer couple that got married and they hyphenated or one took the other partner's name. This SAVE Act is, the damage that this act can and will do is astronomical. So hopefully everybody will take time to reach out to Senator Hirono, who's, I believe, is already on record as saying she's going to be voting no, and then Senator Brian Schatz to ask them to vote no. And then the big ask comes from Congresswoman Jill Takuda, who, yes, voted no against it, and is that we reach out to all of our ohana on the continent, especially those in red states, to reach out to their senators and ask them to vote no. And when they say, oh, but they're going to vote no, they're going to vote yes anyways, they need to hear. And that is something that Congresswoman Jill Takuda has been saying over and over at all of her town halls, is that it doesn't matter if you think you already know their vote, they need to hear from you. So to show them what kind of opposition they're going to have when their re-elections come along. The other thing I have, the other things are there in my in the board packet. The other thing I did want to draw attention to was two things. The June 1st, there's been some talk about kicking off Pride Month with a statewide protests and rallies in each of the counties on June 1, calling it Act Up, Speak Up, Silence Equals Death, something along those lines. To go in concert with all the other protests and actions we've been seeing to respond. So be on the lookout should that actually materialize in the next week or so, couple of weeks. And hopefully you'll help out or organize or at least advertise those events should they take place. The City and County of Honolulu Charter Commission has been sworn in. This is the other one that will need to be approached to about creating the City and County of Honolulu LGBTQ plus commission and as well as addressing several deficiencies within the current charter when it comes to protections for the queer community, as well as gender neutral language. Last but not least is there's an opening for appointment to the Board of Education. It would be wonderful if somebody from our community were to apply for that. That actually does get a stipend. If you sit on the Board of Education, you get paid $100 to go to those meetings, and they will, $100 to be tortured. At least it was $100 last time I checked. Ideally, this person would have an background in education and actually know what the Board of Education, as well as the Department of Education, actually does. So hopefully you'll encourage somebody from our community to at least apply for that. And if they need any assistance, since we've all gone through the process, it's very similar to what we all went through to become commissioners, to become on the Board of Education. Just a reminder, if someone's already on a commission or a board, they cannot sit on two. So they cannot be appointed to two different things. So they'd have to give up something else that they want if they were to be appointed by the governor. And so rumor has it there will probably be an interim appointment. But this issue is all in flux since the governor withdrew the previous nominee's nomination last week, Thursday. So everything else I think I have will come up under as we do the regular business of this commission. Sorry.
Thanks, Michael. And thanks for including so many things in the board packet for us. Other commissioners?
Aloha. I just wanted to update everyone on the Trans Day of Visibility. I represented us and tabled, and it was great. We had a really big turnout, and I was able to just collaborate with other members of the community and different organizations. It was great. I wanted to remind people about the one-day event supporting trans youth in Hawaii, supporting educators, healthcare providers, and kids and their families. Gender Journeys Day Hawaii, no, genderjourneyshawaii.org. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. We do have both those items on the agenda, so when we come to it, we'll definitely ask for public testimony. Thank you, Shanda. Rick, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I just wanted to find out if anyone was able to attend art at the art community at the Capitol building this past week. I wasn't able to go after all. I just didn't know if anybody attended and what it was like. No? Okay.
Other commissioners? We're good. Okay. I just want to say that I had the opportunity to attend the Legacy Foundation Gala, and congratulations to Dr. Camaron Miyamoto for being honored this year. That was a very wonderful event, and yeah, congratulations. All right, then we'll move on here. Let's see. We don't have any. Michael, we're good.
What was that?
We haven't had any late testimony submitted.
Oh, no, everything, we received no testimony for this meeting.
Great. Ex-Officios, do you have anything that you'd like to share or any concerns?
No concerns for DHS.
Thank you, John. Okay. Shanda, do you have any updates on our finances?
Nothing new, no.
Okay, great. Any public testimony on member shares, concerns, and reports? All righty. We have no guest speakers today, so we'll move on to ongoing business updates. Michael, do you want to let us know about the updates on our commission legislative priorities?
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, sorry. Where we're at right now is we've headed into conference. We only have 2 bills left alive. And the first one being, let's see, the youth programs. They did take the dollar figure out of the bill and actually put that into the for the budget itself. It is now, the Senate has disagreed to HB 613. So it does have a clean effective date. So hopefully the Senate will, I'm sorry, the House disagreed to the Senate's amendments. And so hopefully the House will agree, because technically, just so everybody knows, what usually happens at crossover at the end, when they end into conference, unless there was a prearranged agreement, any amendments made in the non-originating chamber are automatically disagreed with, to give them time to review everything. It is my advice that a letter be sent. Be sent to the chairs of the House committees that were the lead committees on that, for that bill. Encourage them to pass the bill as is. So it doesn't have to actually go into full conference, because conference can be, this is where bills go to die. And hopefully very few or bills can be made from bad to worse. Since it all happens behind the cloak and daggers of conference, there is really no sunshine that happens for anybody that's been through it. Looking at the other bill, and that is the parentage bill, and that bill also has a clean effective date. So I will be drafting a letter to Senator Rhodes, since he's the lead. His committee was the lead on the Senate side on that one, and that is SB 1231, and those are our two priority ones. And so asking him to hopefully to reconsider their disagreement and just pass the bill as is, because the only thing that happened on the House side was just some cleanup, and they didn't actually do anything major edits to that bill. And so we still support that. The other bill that we're still supporting that's out there is regards to the public meetings, SB 1651. It was amended on the House side, because as that bill came out of the House, out of the Senate, it was amended to a point that we could not support it. And we were able to get it amended back to the 2 business days. Just so everybody understands that that if this bill becomes enacted, the requirement would be that the packets would have to be up, the board packets would have to be up by 2:30 on Thursday. In my reading of the bill, at one point these packets, our board packets, would have had been up by 8 a.m. on Wednesday, and that just doesn't give everybody enough time to read the agendas and provide anything across the board. So that's where those are at. If the bill dies, it dies, and we'll still be, just so everybody knows, we are meeting the statutory requirements and then some by not only just we figured a workaround, since there's a problem with the calendar, because once you set the agenda and you hit your deadline, you can't go back in and touch the agenda. And so the statute basically reads that you have to have the board packet available there as well, but you can't actually do that after you've hit that deadline. So I created a Google folder that's public, and that's where the board packet goes into once it's ready and gets emailed out to everybody, or the link gets emailed out to everybody. So that's the workaround, and that's also the link that's on our website as well. So we can actually, and that gives us the opportunity to update it as needed, like with the testimonies, because testimonies, we have been saying testimonies aren't due till noon on Friday before our meetings. So these being included in the packet, and should any last minute information need to be sent out, to be quite transparent with everybody. So that's on that. We're looking at out of the and then we will then I guess, yeah. Unfortunately, the 2 concurrent resolutions that we were supporting that would create the task force to do what is that? To take out all the straight language only and go to gender neutral language in the HRSs have both died. The House one never made it out, and the Senate one crossed over and has not been heard. And it's unfortunately already, since they had a dual referral, it's already missed the deadline to do that. And that's SCR 179. A letter was sent to the committee chairs last week asking them to hear it, and from LMG, which is legislative management on the House side, and the chair Holt and Vice Chair Quinlan did not hear that resolution. So and then we'll cover the other ones that are still alive.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Michael. Rick, I saw your hand up at some point. Would you like to add?
Yes, this is in regards to the bill for the homeless youth shelter for the crisis. Here's, I guess, where I think that we might discuss this a little bit more. Right, yeah, so what happened, as you all know, was that the bill left the House and it had a budget. It had a dollar amount attached. And in Senate, it passed out and they deleted the line that said money would be appropriated specific to that cause. Now it's in conference. And so I guess my question is, wouldn't we support? I can see sending a letter, I agree we should support that, but wouldn't we support adding the appropriated funds, at least for the initial setup of the program, versus sending the bill through, making the program, basically right now the bill will go through, it will help to establish the safe space program within the Department of Human Services, and John can probably advise us on this. But my understanding is if the Senate version doesn't include any extra money earmarked for this program, the first 2 years they were looking at, it's not a major amount. It sounds like a lot to us, but in state budgets, it's not. It's $800,000 for the whole state for all 4 counties. So I guess I'm wondering is we should send, I agree we should send some kind of support, but really they don't take testimony or anything anyway when there goes to conference. But I don't know if we should send it and say just pass the Senate version because there wouldn't be any extra money attached. I'm not sure, Don, am I understanding that they would expect that if the bill passes, they would expect Department of Human Services to fund this from within their budget? That's their general fund? Is that how it works?
Sorry, who were you asking, Rick?
I'm sorry, the Department of Human Services. I think it's John Kimura today.
Oh, John Kimura.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. If the bill supporting the shelter for homeless youth goes through no appropriation amount attached, which is the Senate version that's now going to conference, instead of the $800,000, does that mean that the expectation is that the Department of Services would have to find funding from within its overall budget to support any shelters? Versus the House bill, which had special appropriated funds going that specifically for that use of supporting youth shelters on all 4 counties.
I would have to get back to you on that for that answer. Let me get back and I'll check.
Okay, may I? Chair?
Yep.
Okay, so the 1.6 it was actually up to 1.6 million out of in the Senate's Human Services Committee. So and when it came out of Human Services, it had the 1.6 million in there for the first year, and actually 1.6 million in for the second year. The bill basically makes the project of Office of Youth Services, which is out of the Office of the Governor, but attached to DHS for administrative purposes, much like us. That is my understanding that those monies you will now find in the line item budget. So the budget sheets came out last week. So Rick, you're going to want to go check the, since you're the lead on this bill, you're going to want to go look at the budget sheets and see if that 1.6 million is actually there. If it's not there, then we would have to go and advocate for that monies to be reinstated at this point. So the bill right now, as a standalone vehicle, makes the Office of Youth Services permanent, which had a sunset clause in it. And so now this and the funding mechanism would actually come from the state budget itself. And so since it's through the Office of the Governor, it would not come out of DHS's budget. The Office of the Governor would actually have to pay for it. That's just administratively attached to DHS. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Sprinkle.
You're welcome, John.
Clear as mud.
Oh, it makes sense to me.
Well, go ahead, John. Let me give you a call after the meeting just to check and see if we can get where I can get some information. I appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much. Do I have any public testimony on those updates? Okay. Updates on the commission's website. Michael, how's it going?
Oh wait, we have a couple more things I just want to go over. These are the concurrent resolutions. We can bypass, unfortunately, most of these because they're dead. HCR 86. Just so everybody's aware of this, it's the Aloha Civics Working Group. We've asked for that. This one's still alive. Then we did ask for representation on this working group to ensure queer civic issues are covered for the Department of Education. And so it only has one referral, so there's the education on the Senate side. And we will be sending an email requesting that HCR 100, and this would culturally specific gender identities training for anybody. This is for non-discrimination training to include LGBTQIA, and in the reso itself, it actually spells out, gives the definition for the MPAF F+ plus acronym. So those are two that are still alive that we'll be supporting. And then what's the other one? The other one is we've asked for representation on the SCR 123 for the landlord tenant code. But that, let's see, where's that? Sorry. It's been a long session. That one has passed out of CPC and it's now going to Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs on the House side. And our request was not made in that one. I don't believe, but I'll double check. I think, yeah, they said that they would just leave it up to the body. And then the other one was SCR 145. That one passed out unamended, and that working group we asked for a position, a seat on that working group as well, to make sure queer issues were, when they're dealing with paid family leave, especially when we talk about found family, Hanai and others, to make sure that the needs of our community are at least brought up during that working group, looking to make paid family leave actually a reality here in the Aloha State. So that's where we're at with the concurrent resolutions.
Thank you, Michael.
Sure.
And then updates on our website.
We're gonna have a huge major update to the website here in the next couple of days. It's gonna actually have a glossary page, thanks to Sean. And so this will, when people ask, what does LGBTQIA actually mean? And they'll have a definition for all that, plus the plus. It will it will have a very expansive glossary terms there, along with the full definition for MVPAFFF plus, as well as Two-Spirit, but the page will lead off with Mahu. And then there will be a glossary term, what has been referred to as a generic glossary terms for everything from what does bear community mean to understanding sexual orientation, and giving a great, so when people ask, this will be a resource for everybody when it comes to our community and having these things, because there was nothing from a local perspective for AFF plus out there. Everything was either from the continent or another government. And so this will be the first time that this has happened for state government. So we're going to have that in the next couple of days. Our mission statement should be coming up there as well, along with the other. We have added the press stuff. And again, if anybody has anything you'd like to see added to that, please just email me. And don't just email me the idea though, because I'm busy just like everybody else. So I actually have it flushed out what you're looking for, and so we can move that forward.
Thank you, Michael. So he did ask for suggestions for inclusion to be emailed to him. Any public testimony? Just want to say hello to Commissioner Joe, because he has joined us. Welcome. Joe, are you alone in the room?
Yes, I am alone. Sorry, I'm late. Hi, everybody.
Nice to have you. Hi. All right, update on the letter to governor requesting an executive order to turn Hawaii into a sanctuary state. No response. Public testimony?
We got a response. Oh, sanctuary state. No response on that. But if you look at your board packet, because we've received no response about the sanctuary state, the coalition we belong to has created a petition. So hopefully everybody that supports that turning Hawaii into a sanctuary state for gender affirming care has already signed that, and that you share that link out. And we will be having that link available, and the QR code will, several of the different exhibitors at the Queer Day will have that available on Thursday as well, to hopefully get more signatures to let him know about that. And hopefully
put that link in the chat if you'd like, Michael.
Okay.
Thank you. Public testimony? All right. Debrief of inviting Governor Josh Green to a meeting. We did get a response for that, and that is in the board packet. It reads, thank you for extending an invitation for Governor Green to attend one of your upcoming commission meetings. He appreciates your outreach. However, due to scheduling constraints, he is unable to attend at this time. We will let you know if his schedule allows for participation in the future. Any comments or public testimony? All right. If anyone has an in with Governor Green, personal invitation might help. Okay, update on our statement regarding the anti-LGBTQIA policies for students at Maui Prep Academy. So yes, I think you all have seen some of what is going on with ACLU, I hope. Let's see, what did you include in the board packet here? Let me go to that. Yep, in the board packet, there's a link to the letter that we wrote. And then we'd like to discuss sending a letter to Maui Prep sponsors. You can see the links in there too for what the ACLU is doing, their demand letter and the press release that went out about that. So, yeah. Michael, do you want to add anything there?
It's great to see the ACLU coming in and helping on the legal side.
Yes.
But this is going to take a multi-pronged approach because if we allow this one to go, other schools may follow suit. And that this is, as I told Civil Beat, this is our hill to die on. And when people are like, why are you going to die on this hill? Because it sends a message loud and clear to our to the trans community that we have their back, and we're not going to allow them to be thrown under the bus as others have done, as other politicians have done, that we will be here to support them in any way possible. And this is fully, I think, fully within our that we provide as much support as we can. And that unfortunately we have to deal with this, but I think this is making the most sense as we move forward, that we anyway, that's all I have for now until we get to the letter.
Yeah, the draft of the letter is in the board packet. Rick.
I have a question, and to see if anybody can help, but might not. The question is, in discussing this issue with a community group, people asked, how are we addressing this issue with other faith-based affiliated schools? They said, for example, that some of the local Catholic schools have a policy that basically limits the rights of our trans, non-binary students, children, really, in expression at the school system. And I don't know how to find out that information. They pointed out, they said Catholic schools, Baptist schools, they said they don't allow the same things that Maui Prep is not allowing, which is representation on sports team of identity or using the bathrooms of their identity. And so I want to know, find the information of what those other schools do.
May I?
Yeah.
Well, the difference here, and there's a huge difference, is that Maui Prep put themselves out there as a welcoming and a place for all students. They were not founded under religious beliefs. They were founded as a private educational institution, much like other private schools that are not religious based. And they have abdicated their responsibility to those students by changing the process and changing the policies for the students that are there. And so we would not be going after a school we're going after. Well, first we're going after because it was brought to us, and this body voted that we would take this issue up and move it forward. So we would not be going after a school. They have their religious exemption, as it were. Do I personally agree with that religious exemption? not necessarily, but they definitely don't take, they have known not, they don't take public funds. They do not ask for public handouts. Maui Prep has, not just with the PPE in the letter that we got, but they've also gotten support from the county. It is disappointing that the mayor of Maui has not responded to any of our inquiries. But that is the huge difference, is that the school was started with a one way, and then they switched, and they're turning on their students that are currently enrolled in there, and that we as a institution and as a state government, we have to follow the state laws, and the state law is basically very clear on that and as you read ACLU's demand letter, ACLU would be going after those other schools as well if they didn't already have that exemption, the religious exemption. So while I may not agree with it personally, and it's there. So that's how I view it.
So is there a place where someone would be able to find out what schools do discriminate against trans and non-binary students? How would we find that? We needed to look.
You'd have to check the policies of each individual private school, but you can pretty much count that any religious-based school in a religion that already discriminates against LGBTQ will carry that over to their school policies. And if you're choosing a school that is religious-based, you're agreeing to that.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, just because they're accepting of one gay couple doesn't mean they're going to accept all when it comes to those religious schools. As I personally have seen from other people, like her granddaughter goes to a Baptist school, and they're like, "Oh, this is a great school," and I'm like, "But they discriminated against gay couples sending their kids there." So you have to be very careful, especially, and it's going to require queer couples and straight couples that want to make sure that their kids they're sending their kids to a open and affirming school, making sure that they do their research on their non-discrimination policies. But us as a commission, I don't see it's our role to go after those religious-based schools.
That answered it, Rick? Okay, so public testimony. Okay, commissioners, if you've reviewed the letter, then the draft letter, we're going to vote on authorizing that letter to be sent to Maui Prep sponsors.
I so move that we send that letter to Maui Prep sponsors.
Okay, Michael had. Was that Joe seconding? Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Any abstentions?
Well, you could ask for if there's any discussion about the letter after the motion.
Is there any discussion? Okay.
Public testimony.
Go ahead. Public testimony. Yes, please. Public testimony. Okay, there's a motion on the floor and a second. No abstentions. All those in favor? All right. That will be sent to the sponsors. Thank you all.
Oh, Devin, I have a new project for you.
Uh-oh. We're so very grateful to have Devin now.
Oh, I'm extremely grateful.
Okay, update on our queer leadership meeting. Who wants to give an update on that?
You do, since you represented us.
It went really well. There was so many people there that we were packed in, and there was almost no place to sit. I don't think they even anticipated how many people were going to show up. So that was fantastic. And everyone agreed that this is something that needs to continue and the conversations need to continue. So yeah, I was very happy to be a part of that. Michael was there, Rick was there, and so many other LGBTQ plus organizations. So we are hoping to continue those meetings. Yes, Rick.
Well, I just wanted to thank Randy and Camaron, they were both there for the LGBT and the PFI co-sponsors. And Sandy, I know Sandy was the key person there. So you guys did a great job. I counted 17 organizations, one group of, there were family members who just heard about it and came, and there were quite a few people. And so it looked like a really good meeting. I think a lot of them have signed up to be exhibitors at the Capitol on Gay Day. So, but I just wanted to go ahead and
Thank you. Yes. And somebody remarked that even on a weeknight and driving to Waikiki, there were all those people there. So it was a very telling about how important it is to all of us. Yeah. I'm just checking the chat real quick. Celine put in there, saw a powerful social media post about homelessness in Hawaii that addressed a lot of misinformation. It really stuck with me. Is there a program or organization? Okay. And Camaron, thank you for answering. Fantastic. Okay, but not about this. Anything else about the queer leadership meeting?
Well, yeah, I was there. I was in a different capacity. I was there as president of Pride at Work. It was a good start. Something that we've needed for quite some time. And hopefully as we move into the next couple items, they will help. There's been a lot of next steps that need to take place as we move forward. And I think this is where our role as the commission comes into play from what our statutory request from the legislature is, to making sure that we continue this as we move forward to be able to do this, to build these bridges, not only between us in the community, but also between all the different organizations and themselves. So, because we are going to need everybody as we move forward. I will say that there was people made light of the 1.3% when it comes to the Con Am passing. And as we've all seen, we're paying the price for that 1.3% during this legislative session. With the fact that we only, out of the 11 priorities we had heading into session, none of them that are queer only survived. End of story. And it's going to take a lot more effort and a lot heavier lifting from our community, and not just us and not just the orgs, but everybody trying to activate at least a larger portion of our community to advocate for these bills as we move forward for next session and that special session, which will be coming up here. It'll get here before you know it. So on that note, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Chair. That's what I have from the meeting.
Thank you, Michael. And so, yes, the hope is that we can do these things quarterly, and perhaps switch hosts and locations as we go. But yeah, that is the hope. Sandy is nodding. Maybe Sandy will continue to take the lead, I'm hoping, on this. And Camaron, you were assisting with that. That would be great, because yeah, we definitely want to continue that work. Thank you. Public testimony. Okay. The other part of this is, okay, so we're going to vote on supporting let's do this one first. Voting on supporting the meetups quarterly. And we have Sandy and Camaron who are helping out with that. So can I have a motion to vote to support quarterly meetings?
I move we support meetings.
Rick moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Michael second. Any abstentions?
Just a quick discussion on this. While I do totally support this, we've already had 2 offers to host. Hawaii Health and Human Harm Reduction Center is offering to be our next host, the next host for the quarterly meetings. And then after that, the UH's Queer Commission has offered to host after that. So with the idea that whoever hosts has to have Zoom capabilities with either their own OWL, or once we get our OWL, we bring that to be able to allow for Neighbor Island and those that can't make it into town to participate on these meetings. And so, because there was a lot of interest heading right into it from those in the rural Oahu as well as all of our Neighbor Island organizations. So we should not let with all this wonderful technology, especially what we're using here today, use that as well to be able to have these quarterly meetings in that way. And whoever takes the lead from here for us is making sure like it's like a board packet goes out so people can have a chance to update. And so they don't have to spend our time in the meeting going over that we can then spend addressing issues. Or whatever big question of the day is, or whatever the thing is. And working with the host, I'm helping set that. So we would still be under sunshine law. So which means no more than 4 of us, if we set up a pig for this, could go to those meetings unless you were there in your individual capacity. And since it's a leadership meeting, you'd actually have to be a leader of another org to be there. So we'd have to figure that out as we move forward. Because then the other thing was actually something for everybody else to think about is a community town hall. So and figuring how that would be something because there's a lot of questions out there about what's going on with state government, what everybody's doing and how everybody's getting through these horrible times that we're living in. So that's something that for that group to figure out if that's something that everybody on board that shows up to those would be interested in. So as we move forward, should this motion.
Sandy.
I was going to follow up on that and let the commissioners know from the other islands that I will be contacting you so that we identify places to have these on other islands as well.
You faded out, Sandy.
So that we can have these on the other islands as well.
You're muted on your side.
I'm hearing Sandy. This is Camaron. Sandy, he said that he has a commitment to do outreach on other islands to make sure that we have a presence on other islands as well. And I'll be happy to work with Sandy to make sure that we follow up with Michael's groundwork and follow through with H3RC and UH.
Thank you. Okay, and so should we save for next meeting then talking about sending one representative when it's scheduled versus creating a pig? Is that okay? Okay.
Oh yeah, we can't have that discussion today because it's not on the agenda.
Right.
And we're in the...
Sounds good. Okay, then any abstentions? All those in favor? All right, we will sponsor co-hosting. And then we talked about at the meeting having a calendar. Everyone was saying, wouldn't it be great to have one calendar where all the LGBTQ plus events could be hosted so that there's one place to find out what's going on. And of course, the tricky part with that is to have a calendar implies somebody has to be entering all of it in, right? So it is labor intensive in many ways, but everyone is seeing the benefit of it. So what do you think about us as a commission taking on such a task, which is going to fall largely to our wonderful new secretary, Devin, if we decide to do this discussion. Rick.
Can I ask, I believe he's still on. Does the Legacy Foundation do a calendar already that like I would be a starting point for us?
Hi, Rick. Yeah, I'm open to it. I think I had preliminary conversation with Michael and Kat about this. I think there is an opportunity if you guys are looking to look collaboratively. Just some insight on our end. We are putting out an RFP out to have an agency manage our website and our calendar going forward with an expected launch of June 1st to have that capability of that being handled. So if it's something that maybe the commission wants to help lift up with us, we'd be definitely open to that. And I did send some information via email to Kat and Michael, so we can definitely continue conversation about that further if you guys are interested.
That's good news.
And following up on that, if I may, yeah, that we would be, if this motion moves forward past it, we support the Legacy Foundation's online calendar, that we'd have to run this by ethics to making sure we're okay using a state employee in such a way. I can already, well, I totally support the issue, is that there would be, in my conversations like I had with Randy, was that we would actually have to, there may be parameters of things that Devin would not be able to do, like fundraisers that are purely fundraisers. Those would be the idea that we talked about, as there being a portal on Legacy Foundation's website that everybody would have access to put your events, and they would go into whatever, into a spreadsheet or what have you. And then on twice a week, going in and posting the events that were there. And that, yeah, the only way we'd be able to do this is if having on a consistent basis, is there Devin would be willing to do this. And I did have a preliminary conversation with Devin before bringing this to you all, to make sure that this was something that A, she was comfortable with, and B, that was within her skill sets, that we weren't going to be tasking her with too much, with the understanding that it'd be like twice a week max of updating the calendars. And so there's no data entry involved. That's all on everybody's, on the person looking to post. But yeah, for us to take this on would also require running it up ethics, to making sure we're not violating anything. And so which I Randy and I talked about when I saw him at Trans Day of Visibility, because several people reached out, said, hey, can't the commission do this? And I'm like, we don't have a calendar. We're not here to usurp anybody else's work. We're here to uplift and help out where we can without all the different orgs that are already there. And so this is a nice way for us to dovetail into something that's already there, to be able to provide, since they only have one paid, they only have Randy. And so we are able to supplement to twice a week, Devin, since Devin's so wonderful.
So we can vote on supporting it, but we're not saying specifically how. Rocco.
I'm just curious, if it wasn't on the Legacy Foundation website, where would we be or where would this calendar be accessible? Where would we be sending people to utilize the information? Would that be something that would just have to be like a whole new animal that we're building and trying to get out to get followers? Because I think it definitely sounds like it's a better idea to attach it to something that already has a ton of followers, like the Legacy Foundation. Otherwise, we're going to be trying to build those eyes ourselves. You know what I mean? It just seems like that'd be a harder push.
Yeah, the idea is that this would be solely supporting a community calendar on Legacy's website.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we don't have the capability to do our own, nor should we be usurping that from the community at all.
Gotcha.
Right.
Sure, this is Deputy AG Erin Lau. It's fine to move forward with your vote on, just supporting generally. And I think we can talk more about the specifics. I understand even if Devin's comfortable, there might be other issues involved.
Yeah, like I said, we have to, this is going to require, this isn't going to happen in the next, after we do this, I didn't want to reach out to ethics to see, and then also DHERD to see if this violates anything with them. But like I said, like I already told Randy, I don't think we could do anything with the solely on a fundraising only kind of thing. Like we don't, on our social media platforms, we don't push out anything that's solely a fundraiser, but if it's the cost, if there's a cost, it's just the cost to cover the event. So, but yeah, this is just it's not going to happen tomorrow, and there's a lot more due diligence on our side that needs to happen. And I didn't want to waste anybody's time if the commission was not behind this idea.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Or public testimony? Okay, then we'll vote on supporting the community calendar. Can I have a motion to support?
I move that the commission supports the Legacies calendar as the community calendar to the extent that we're able to.
Okay, Michael, thank you. And a second? Joe is raising his hand. Joe, you second? Thank you. Okay, any abstentions? All those in favor? And we will support. All right, next is update on accepting private funding. I don't have any updates. Does anyone have any updates? I think we have figured out no way to do that, so. Okay, public testimony. Anyone know more than we do?
Sure, I thought I sent you an email about that. I'll touch base with you afterwards.
Okay, thank you. I don't remember, but it's possible. Thank you. Update from the Permitted Interaction Group. The PIG established to build a coalition of kupuna, mahu, LGBTQIA+ organizations to identify and address the needs of our communities, kupuna, especially mahu, trans, non-binary, and intersex.
Aloha. So that I'm already participating in the sexual and gender minority work groups. I'm the chair of the kupuna committee for that. And so I had thought that it makes sense to dovetail these two together. And Rick was the volunteer to participate with me along with as commission representatives on this group. So I brought it to that group today to bring that up, and everybody thinks that's a great idea. The people that are currently involved are like Department of Health, H3RC, the Executive Office on Aging, UH, and it's very fluid. So often there's a bunch of different people. So I think the area of opportunity here is to include more political groups. So we're going to invite Krishna, for example. There was someone else we were going to invite and I've already forgotten. But we're going to work on that. Our current priorities that we're looking for is working toward inclusion of a document that that essentially allows trans folks to designate their pronouns toward the end of life. I think of it as like a post for pronouns. And we're collaborating on resources, and we're going to be working with long-term care ombudsman, and we're trying to figure out for sure how we want to make this look, and then try to figure out what type of statute or recommendation or political push we can put behind it to encourage long-term care facilities, care homes, mortuaries, all of that to include this. And there's a really cool document from the National Consumer Voice for Long-Term Care and SAGE and the long-term care ombudsman.org that has, it's like I said, it's a really cool document. I can put it in the chat. And at the top of it is, please use my chosen name or nickname and my pronouns. And then it's got a bunch of really patient-centered stuff, things I like, things I don't like, my habits. So we're working toward that. And we're also trying to find a way to create intergenerational opportunities for our kupuna and the rest of our queer community. And our recent idea of this, I had in mind like adopt a kupuna or big brothers, big sisters with young folks in kupuna. But it was recommended today that SAGE, which is a national organization for queer kupuna, they have what's called SAGE table. They're intergenerational dinners, basically. So people can have one and sponsor it, and you get young people and older folks. And then there's specific questions that you can bring up just to share resources and create community and reduce isolation. So if anybody would like to participate in our monthly meetings, the committee meets monthly on the same day as the commission at noon. We're very quick, so it is not a major commitment, but you can add yourself to the calendar invite by emailing. This is Thaddeus and the SGM work group email. Thanks.
Rick, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, when I went to that meeting in Las Vegas, the LGBT task force, the national, there were a lot of groups presenting that were from SAGE and presenting, and just what Shanda described was being done with great results around the country. Just, I want to second what she says and see if people can help. That would be great. But I was really, really pleased to see and hear what's being done around the country by this group.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right, Thaddeus actually just jumped back on the meeting. Yeah, Thaddeus, Shanda, and Rick were just talking to us about the group established to build a coalition of Kupuna, Mahu, and LGBTQIA+ organizations. So she already put in the work in the chat there, the DOH email for those interested. Thank you. Any public testimony? Oh, Joe, I'm sorry, you have your hand up?
I have a question for Rick. That group that you just brought up about in Vegas, is that a group only for live, or is that something that we can jump in on Zoom?
Well, what this is the group that SAGE is a national group. They actually don't have a office or a what do you call it? They don't have a presence here in Hawaii per se. So SAGE is doing these things, but they're showing what we can do. We can work with them. They would be more than happy to help us and try to set up how we can do this. So we're setting it up, and Shanda and Thaddeus will be able to tell us what they're doing. But this group that they're meeting with monthly now is going to be looking at trying to set up some things. These were things that had very good results in rural areas that were isolated. So like on the neighbor islands, like in the West Side, you know, any place that you can, because you can find groups of people that are there that maybe couldn't drive into town. But I think it will be a good group. I can share some stuff that I got at the meeting with you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, super.
Chair?
All right, yes.
Okay, just so everybody, if you're gonna go to these meetings and you want to be part of the PIG, you just need to make sure that notify Kat. We can only have up to 4 members of the commission be members of this PIG. Otherwise, we're in violation of the Sunshine Law.
Right.
I encourage members of the PIG to go back and look at last month's board packet, because there was a listing of different orgs from the straight community. The AARP actually has down for one of their top priorities is assisting the the graying queer community, and so that hopefully there will be outreach to as well as reaching out and seeing what the Kupuna caucus at the legislature is up to, and that is co-chaired by on the Senate side by Morawaki. So if there's other people that are really interested in this, that just since there's a PIG that's already been created, 2 more people from the commission can sit on that to help move this along.
Hi, commissioners. Sorry, I had an emergency come up and I missed the discussion on the actual PIG. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Who is on the PIG and what exactly are they doing?
Myself and Rick Velasquez are on the PIG, and we are collaborating with the Sexual and Gender Minority Work Group Kapuna Committee. So we're basically just joining that committee and expanding it a bit politically.
Okay, so a permitted interaction group has a very specific purpose. You know, it might be to negotiate on behalf of the commission or to investigate a specific issue. What you're kind of describing might be more akin to like a subcommittee where you have a, you know, where you have commissioners who, you know, it's like a mini board on a board.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yeah, so this was actually started outside the purview of the commission. So if commissioners join an existing community work group, that doesn't require anything, does it? Because this isn't really a commission body nor a convening. It actually is.
Are they joining as representatives of the LGBTQ plus commission? Or are they doing it in their, you know, just individual capacity or what?
That I'm not clear about, so I would defer to the commissioners.
Rick?
Yes, I think that we want to do it the way that's going to be the most feasible and the most effective. So if it's your recommendation or if it's your clarification that in order to serve on this, I would have to, for example, not be simply working in a capacity as an old person. I could do that too, just as easily. And then, you know, and so the idea is if whatever's going to make it the best and easiest fit for us to move this idea forward. And then we could have one person representing and other people can sit as private individuals from the or even representatives of other organizations. Would that be allowed?
So this is a non-government group, working group, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
And so,
and I was already on it as a member of the Sexual and Gender Minority Work Group, which I am the SGM work group representative to the commission currently. And yes. And I thought that this made sense for our PIG to basically, because it's going to be accomplishing the same thing, right? Working toward SGM, Kapuna or LGBTQ plus Kapuna issues that we could dovetail them, which would allow Rick and I to communicate effectively on a monthly basis.
So these are like monthly meetings to talk about issues affecting this specific community?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it like there's specific projects that they're doing?
Yes.
Which both? One person?
Both. We're okay, so I will repeat. So there are a large group of folks that are stakeholders from throughout the community, including the Department of Health, the Executive Office on Aging, University of Hawaii, H3RC, and some various different other people sitting in from time to time. And this is the committee on the SGM work group. And what we're currently working toward is two different projects, one of which is trying to find a way to develop, refine, and implement a document allowing trans folks to designate their gender and pronouns to ensure appropriate care at end of life, and working with a bunch of different agencies, especially government agencies, to try to come up with figure out if there may be appropriate political pressure that can be implemented, maybe city council mandates or laws or whatever, to work with long-term care facilities to ensure they do use this, and then collaborate with organizations that work with folks and especially at end of life and in long-term care to offer it and to publicize it. And what we're using is a specific form. So far we're using a specific form developed by the long-term care ombudsman and SAGE. There's another thing that we're working on, also a SAGE thing, which is an intergenerational community event, maybe quarterly, maybe monthly. I don't know. We just came up with it this time. And the committee today just today, because we just met today since the last commission meeting, agreed that sure, it sounds great to have this dual purpose, if that's appropriate, pig, and thus a little bit more political and stakeholder group working on care.
So the pig or whoever from the commission would be going to these meetings representing the commission to give their input on these specific projects and issues. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then
And somewhat being liaison between the group and the commission. And while it could be a single person like me doing that, it also, there being more than one of us would also be great, because then we can collaborate at that meeting and talk about it and figure out how the commission can best utilize our resources as the commission.
Okay. And then when you guys go to this meeting, you know that you cannot commit the commission to anything, you know, like you can't say like, okay, the commission will sponsor this, or, you know, you can't make decisions on behalf of the commission there.
Of course, yes.
You're just kind of providing your input. Okay,
Yeah.
and so, and you
I can
don't
bring that back to the commission, and then we can put it on the agenda and discuss it, vote on it, whatever.
So I understand like the intention was to create a pig. I'm just not sure if you needed to create a pig, or if it was something you could have simply voted to send, you know, decide someone to be the representative of the commission on that. Of course, I agree with what Michael was saying earlier about how you definitely can't have, you know, a quorum of members on the commission attending these meetings at all. But I can look further into the issue and get back to you. You already have your voted, you already voted, sorry, I missed it again. I had an emergency phone call pop up, but you already voted to establish a pig. And so I would just be looking into whether you need to, you know, keep that pig established, or whether you would just, you know, move forward as, you know, whoever you decided to go in their capacity as a commissioner to attend the meeting. So it's just kind of like a use for a pig, but I'll look into it further and talk to my colleagues to see if they've had anyone do it that way.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Any public testimony? Okay, appreciate that, Erin. And next up is an exciting discussion of our Pride preparations. And so I know that some of this is included in the board packet. We want to take a look at each of the Prides, and we have got some information first from Philip. Thank you very much. If you want to just briefly go over here what we've included in the board packet, Philip, for Kauai.
Sure. You're all invited and encouraged to come. Our Pride is Saturday, June 7th. The parade starts at 10. It's probably less than a mile. You're the city mouse, we're the country mouse. And then there's a festival in the lawn of the county courthouse that starts at 11 and goes until 2. It's really nice. There's no cost for us to participate in the parade because we're a nonprofit. There's no cost for us to participate and have a table at the festival. I've already secured those, reserved those spots, so we're good to go. Depending on how many people come, if people are coming, I know Kat said she was coming, Michael said he was coming, so that makes 3. If we need to, if everybody comes, we may need to rent a vehicle. I have a small car, so that's not going to work. So there may be a car rental, or I can, once I know what the numbers are, then I can see I might be able to borrow something. So I think the cost just to participate is minimal. There's, again, I did a budget, as far as, you know, that you could come over for the day. I mean, Southwest has a flight, I think, that leaves Oahu at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and you know, pop over and spend the day and leave. That Hawaiian also has early flights, so it is possible just to come over. Either come over just for the parade and then leave when that's over, or the parade and the festival and leave after 2 o'clock. If you wanted to come Friday evening, you could do that. There is no, that right now we're very small. Right now there's no other event besides this parade and festival. I'm actually meeting tomorrow with Joe and Dean. They're going to be here on Kauai, and I'm meeting with them to talk about bringing that queer justice display that was on Oahu. We're very interested in bringing that over and hosting it in the lobby of Kauai Community College Performing Arts Center. So we're all meeting tomorrow to talk about that. I'm kind of thinking I might want to do some kind of Friday night kickoff, like that display, and maybe, you know, cocktails or something like that, or even show a film in the theater, and that would be in the lobby. So there might be something Friday night, there might not be. Sometimes there's a party afterwards, in the evening after party. It's not hosted or produced by the Pride Committee. It's usually done by somebody else who decides to sort of take advantage of the activity. I'm not often impressed by it, so I think I've said my husband and I have our own party, which you'd all be invited to. So, you know, you could fly over, and I think the thing for people to consider is transportation. We do have Uber, and we do have Lyft, and we do have taxis. They're very, very, very spotty and sketchy and unpredictable. I live 5.5 miles from the airport, and one time I had to pay $100 for an Uber to get from the airport to my house, because it's surge pricing, right? And if there's literally one person driving that day. So I think the thing for people to consider is getting a car, and then if, you know, if 3 or 4 people are coming, you could get one car. What else? It's all, you know, it's, I think I live less than 10 miles, so you could stay near me and get on. We have one road, so you get on the road and you go to the parade, and then you go back. But so that's something I think we got to figure out how many people are coming, and transportation is the big thing. And I am involved in a couple other organizations that I will walk with the commission in the parade, and then I have a table at the festival, and the commission table is right beside me, and then my husband's business, his table is on the other side of me. So I am really, really involved. I will not be able to shuttle people around or do airport runs or things like that. So that's something you'd have to talk amongst yourselves and figure out how you're going to make that work. But and then I guess the last part of it is I would make a request that we sponsor. In the board packet, there is a chart that shows the different levels of sponsorship. And I feel strongly, since we've sponsored a number of Oahu events, that we should contribute to our pride as well. The Pride committee is extremely excited when I told them, like, the commissioners want to come, and they just think that's the greatest thing ever. So it would be deeply appreciated, and I think it would be a great opportunity to have a table and to sit there, and we get lots of traffic, and just to let people know we're here, because, you know, not a lot of people still know we exist.
Thank you, Philip. As we go through this and talk about this, we're going to have to figure out the budget of everything. And so I just want to clarify, you can fly in and out in the same day to attend this Pride. Therefore, yes, staying overnight would not be something that we could reimburse for. I'm just putting that out there. So when we're thinking of budget, if that's something anybody wants to do, that would be on your own. And then we have to decide for which prides can we sponsor, and for which prides, what kind of budget do we have for travel? How many can we pay for? All of that. Rick.
I'm just making sure this is in Lihue, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Philip, did you, for staying over, do they have any kind of discounts or anything? Did you find that out?
One of the hotels typically gets a block of rooms and discounts them. And I did reach out to the parade committee today, and I was told that they've put in their request for the room block. They haven't gotten a response yet. The same hotel has done it for the last 6 or 7 years, so they assume it will happen again. The rooms, like there are hotels that are just as cheap as what that room block ends up being generally. There's some, I mean, they're not the nicest hotels, but clean sheets, clean shower, one night, you know, $250. So that's reasonable for Kauai.
Okie dokie, Shanda.
And we have already allocated $500 for Pride. So we have voted in the budget that we are going to support Maui Pride at the $500 level. And we have actually spent.
Sorry, Shanda, you said Maui Pride. Did you?
Oh, I meant Kauai. So sorry. Wait, also Maui, but Kauai is obviously what we're talking about here. We have actually spent just about 12,100 or allocated it, which would leave us, we'll say 6,500 of left to spend. So just for general purposes of what our budget looks like.
What?
About 6,500, I believe, is what we have left to spend.
Okay.
In our current annual budget.
Actually, Shanda, that number's more like 4,500 because there's a $2,000 cap that we're not allowed to touch from BNF.
Thank you.
So what we're looking at is we have basically about $4,500 left. I was running numbers. That's what I do when I'm waiting for emails to come back from people. So since the 3 prides that we're looking at in June, $500 to each, to be fair, that's I think that should be the first thing on the table, is that we support Kauai, Maui, and Hilo prides, which those are the 3 out of this year's budget. So that'd be $1,500, and that we did vote on that just to make sure that we reaffirm that that's what we're going to do, and that because that's what we'll have left in it. Then that will leave us, as we look at these things, around $3,050 left in our budget for travel. And as Kat has said, that since just so you understand that if you want to go over and come in early and stay late, that's fine. It's just going to take a lot more longer time, and you're going to need to start doing your travel paperwork now. That means you're going to have to commit today, so we can actually move forward with these to get Devin time to do that, because there's a lot more paperwork, because that's considered a side trip. On the way the state does travel, you have to provide them what it costs just to go to the event, and then you're a deviation of travel for you to stay, either fly in early, which you will have if there's any change in the cost of the airfare, which usually there isn't, but it's still a whole thing, just so everybody understands this. And that there's been thanks to Kristen and Devin, there's a new policy and how they're going to process our travel and reimbursements at the DHS level. So we won't be waiting 6-8 months to get reimbursed. And Devin, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we do this, at least the airfare travel will be able to be paid by P card. More than
Yes. Sorry,
more
can you
than
hear me?
likely. Yes, I can. Sorry.
I would like to say yes, but again, I'm still waiting on confirmation from a few more people. Just to get a solid answer on how travel would work, since it is taking place in June.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, but for the airfare, the P card would be able to use the P card to book the tickets, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, there's still a whole nother issue about hotel rooms and reimbursements, since there's a May 30th cutoff for reimbursements from this year's budget, coming out of this year's funds.
Rick?
Yes, thank you. Just to make sure I'm understanding, because I think there's not one in Hilo, that's Kona, right? Not Hilo, but Kona?
No, it's Hilo. It's the last weekend of the month. It's the last last weekend in June.
Okay, so are we still sponsoring? I didn't hear us mention Kona.
Because Kona's not out of this year's budget. Like I didn't mention Honolulu.
So Kona's not out of this year's budget?
Because it's later in the year.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So Kona and Honolulu won't be, but the Hilo thing. All right. And so we're looking at basically just those three then. So Kauai, Maui, Hilo. And that's 1,500. I got it. Okay. Yeah, and definitely I don't think I should go. I mean, the travel money should go to the people who haven't gone to a place, I think. So is that, how do we figure out who's, oh, well, we don't know who wants to go yet, right? Who's going?
An email was sent out to all commissioners while Kat was in Australia saying, please reach out to the leads, and the leads being Philip, Joe, and Rocco for the 3 upcoming prides, and then myself for Honolulu, that if you wanted to travel over. And the only people that I know that have responded that I was able to put in the board packet was myself and Kat. No one else has responded that they're interested in going.
Oh, okay.
And basically, like I said, this is the meeting we need to decide it all in with that May 30th deadline. And that's the reason it's on the agenda. And that's the reason all the information was asked for this. This is the board packet for today.
Okay, so far we've got 500 to each of these as sponsorship. And then traveling to Hawaii, we understand that it would just be for the day. If you deviate, you have to pay for it. If you stay in a hotel, you have to pay for it. I don't think we can probably justify more than one vehicle to travel in. And we would only justify it because it costs less probably than taking an Uber on that day. So who is committed to going to Kauai's Pride? Okay, 2 of us, right? Okay. The next one then is on June 14th, and that's Maui's, which we can also sponsor for $500. And Joe is the lead of that one. Thank you, Joe. Do we have timings on that one when it occurs? Is it a fly-in, fly-out situation?
I have information. I was just waiting for my turn to go over what we have plans.
Thank you.
So on June 1st, we have a Pride brunch that will start up. That's our monthly first Sunday of the month brunch. So that's going to start our week events here. Wednesday, June 4th is our proclamation from our Maui, Maui's mayor, Richard Bisson. Mayor Bisson, he's going to do a proclamation for us in the raising of the flag and do a little speech that he usually does. June 6th, we're going to have a youth and family night in Kihei. And June 7th, which is, I know, coincides with Kauai's, we're having a Pacific Whale Foundation Pride Boat Party. That's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. Sunday, June 8th, we have a Pride barbecue at the Kamoli Beach 3 from 11 to 3. And then we have a hike June 14th, the morning, the same day that our Pride Festival is going to start. And the festival is from 2 to 10. And then that evening, we have a Pride Party dance from 8 to 12 p.m. on Saturday, the 14th, which will close our events after that day, Pride Festival that day. And
itself goes all the way till 10 p.m.?
The festival does, 2 to 10, but nobody's going to be there till 10 except for us. We're going to be tearing everything down and putting things away. But yeah, because we're going over to the dance real early, I'm sure.
And is there a parade?
No, it's not really a parade. We don't have enough people or help to have a real big parade like all the others that you have there. So it's just going to be we're calling it a Pride Festival.
And would we have a table there with the sponsorship or no?
Sorry?
We have a table at the festival with
I was bringing it up. I was gonna ask if you or Michael come over, can bring some flyers or anything that you might, or anybody have that I can have on the table to man, since I'm going to be the one that's manning the Maui table that we have. And it's also free for us, nonprofit. So we don't have to pay about our entry into the event. What else have I got here? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and Akaku is giving us I'm not sure if it's a half hour or an hour for myself and somebody else of our group to come in and talk about our events and our Pride Festival on our Kako radio station.
Okay, so if Michael and I go, we would need to be at the table from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
You don't have to be with me at the table. You can enjoy yourself and walk around. I'll be manning the table. So
Just
yeah.
trying to figure out whether we can fly out that night or if we would have to stay over.
Oh, that's up to you if you want to stay for the dance. Yeah.
Well, it's not whether or not it's being paid for. It has to do with it.
It's my understanding that the festival basically winds down around 7, and that would, since that's when the sun goes down, so that we'd be able to fly in and fly out, because that's what other vendors and other people have done. So it'd be a fly in and fly out situation for the commission.
Okay. Anybody who chooses to, pay on their own to deviate or stay over, that's on them. But was anybody else interested in going to Maui's? Philip.
Am I on? I'm on.
Yeah.
So I need to check a couple things. I'm interested in coming over.
Yay.
Yay. So the festival starts at 2, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes, this is my question, there are limited flights. I mean, the festival may end at 7, but the last flight from Maui to Kauai may be at 7 or 6 or something. So am I therefore able to stay overnight because I can't get a flight back, which is what I've done when I've come over to Oahu.
Right.
Like, there's been an event that ends at 5 p.m. and I stay overnight and they pay for a hotel. So
I think we're just trying to figure out the budget for it.
okay.
See how much we have for everything.
I'm like, can I stay?
The hotels in Maui and Kauai are way more.
Can I go to the party? Okay. That's what I want to know is, can I go to the party?
Yeah,
okay.
The party's at 8, so yeah.
I am interested, and I will respond pretty quickly in the next day or so.
I'm up to 2 tickets for Kauai or for Kauai, 3 tickets for Maui. Anyone else for Maui? Because we're talking about probably $160 a ticket, right? I'm just trying to figure that out. Okay, awesome. And then, thank you very much, Joe. We have what's the next one?
Hilo.
Who is planning? Does anyone have any information on Hilo to share? We don't really have a lead for that.
I can answer some of that. So for right now, they haven't updated their website from any of the information from 2024. But I've reached out to multiple people that are part of the planning process, and they are just running a little behind on that end. We would, of course, have a table at the festival. It's from 11 to 4. The parade starts at 11 on the 29th. And the parade is relatively short for anybody who's ever come. It's, not more than an hour, and it ends at the bandstand festival area. If anybody does want to come, I think it was just yourself and Michael that had indicated interest. I do have a tent and a table and chairs that I'll just bring over from Kona with me, and I'll come and join you if we want to show up and actually have some presence there this year. But like I said, at this point, I haven't heard exactly from them that any of this is, you can reserve your spot yet, but I'm pretty sure it's a huge park that they have it in. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to get us all in there. And then it does seem like it could be a fly in, fly out situation, again, from 11 to 4, depending on, if that's something that someone wants to come over on those early morning flights. But and Hilo, of course, is always a little bit shifty on the flight out situation, but I think that there's plenty of options that evening. And there's not really anything going on late night there anyway with all of that. So that would probably be fine for just a day trip.
Okay. That's very helpful. Who else on the 28th might want to join us in Hilo? Rick, you want to go?
I would like to go, but I want to make sure that everybody has a chance, and so if anybody else is interested, I would like to go to Hilo for that.
Okay,
So far I have 8 plane tickets, 8 round trip plane tickets, basically. I'm guessing around $160 each. And if I do this math correctly, that's $1,280. And Michael was indicating that we should have a 2,500 left. Michael, was that including the 500 to each of the,
Yes,
even
ma'am.
after that, or it includes that?
That the 2,500, the 3,000, actually it's 3,000 for travel. We'll have left after giving each one of them 1,500 each. So we have more than enough in the budget. For Rocco, you would actually get mileage from us for that. From Kona to Hilo and back.
Ooh. I want mileage.
Ride your bike. How does that work? Oh, okay. So this means that we better get with Devin ASAP to email confirmation of when you want to fly back and forth and to which ones, right? So can those of us who said we're going to do this commit to doing that within the next 48 hours?
Yes.
Sure.
And just in case, so I know, if we purchase the ticket on the P card, Devin, I don't know if you know this, and then we decide to deviate and change our own flights, we can pay the extra charge, but is that something that we can do, or we need permission if we deviate after the tickets have been bought? Maybe that's a good question.
Usually you put your deviation in with your request for travel when you do your travel documents. So if you know you're going to want to spend the night and stay, come in on Friday and leave on Sunday, you're going to want to put that in your email to Kat saying that you were looking to deviate.
I was just wondering if we had to make that decision now, or if we could go ahead and purchase tickets and then later.
Yeah, if there's any changes, any cross changes for the tickets, that comes out of your pocket, out of whatever the ticket change costs are, comes out of the traveler's pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just kind of an easier way to do it. And because I don't know exactly where I'm deviating and for what yet, but if we go ahead and just get the tickets for the day, then we could probably figure that out on our own, right? Okay.
So is there anybody else that wants to go? Going once, because it's going twice.
I would
3
like to go,
hours,
but I
let me
have
know.
a kitty cat that I need somebody to cat sit for me, but no, thanks anyway.
So we have enough in the budget to cover that, right? And then a rent-a-car for Kauai and Maui
Yeah.
and Hilo.
Yeah.
And following the there's a schedule on the procurement website on when it comes to rent-a-cars and how we have to go about that. And there's already a pricing schedule for that as well. So there would be just 1 day each on those 3 for those 3 days, and there's more than enough in the budget to cover 3 rent-a-cars and the total 8 tickets. You said, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we pay for the rent-a-car and then get reimbursed, right? That's what I think. That's what I've done in the past. But
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, so same like a hotel then.
yeah.
We just have questions about whether it comes out of this year's money or next year's money, given the May 30th deadline. So, and Devin's still working on that because she doesn't have an answer for that question.
Gotcha. Rick?
Do we have swag? I can't remember if we put those any order for what about brochures, flyers? Rocco had mentioned those fans that I think people do like to get. Are we going to be able to take any?
We have no money left in our budget to do that because fans are anywhere between $1,500 to $3,000 depending on how many you order. I already looked into it.
Okay.
So that might be something for 2024, 2026, 2025, 2026.
And what about brochures, flyers? Are we going to have things like that?
QR codes. People don't really like to hold on to the flyers.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
You can have the QR codes.
I have a question.
Philip.
Regarding swag, would a commissioner be allowed to donate? Like if I had some tchotchke with our logo on it, is that permissible?
I believe so, unless Aaron wants to say otherwise, but it's not taking a monetary donation. We can take donations of.
An in-kind donation.
Question.
What was
Sorry.
that?
Oh, sorry, I missed the question.
Are we allowed to take in-kind donations?
Like if we
What do
want
you
to
mean by in-kind donations?
If a commissioner, if I donate some kind of swag to the with our logo for Pride, is that permissible as a commissioner?
Like, can you donate to your own commission? Is that your question?
Yes, not money, lollipops or stickers or little banners or something junk.
It's probably fine. You probably want to write a letter to the commission stating exactly what it's for, kind of just like following your statute on donations, like private donations. And then, you'll just make sure to follow whatever you say, like this is to be used for this thing, not for, or, this to pass out at your meetings and when you're in person, not for other purposes kind of thing.
Okay.
Like that's what we can talk about what you'd put in the letter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that, Philip.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Thinking about it.
Do we have any public testimony? All right, then we're going to vote if someone makes a motion to do so to, we've already dedicated the 500 each per Pride, but we are going to vote on the budget for travel that we just agreed on. So
actually, Pat, if we can add, because we did not allocate for Hilo, Michael's right about that. We would have to allocate that or steal Kona's $500 allocation for the year, and then they'll get theirs next year. That's actually what I would recommend. Take the $500 that we had earmarked for Kona, apply it to Hilo, since we cannot pay the Kona one because it doesn't happen until next fiscal year.
makes sense to me. Michael, you're on mute.
I was going to just make a motion that we reconfirm our sponsorships for $500 for Maui, Kauai, and Hilo, and adding Hilo in there should for our sponsorships, as well as the travel for those the commissioners that have already indicated they want to go to those 3 prides.
Is that your motion?
Yes, my motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Anyone abstaining? All those in favor?
Oh, Chair, public testimony.
Public testimony? All those in Okay, folks, we have 17 minutes left, so I'm going to try and get through some of these things quickly, okay? Update on sponsoring Gender Journey Day. Shanda, you already gave us the update. Is there any public testimony? Awesome. And then Transgender Day of Visibility. Shanda, you gave us an update. Any public testimony? Perfect. Okay. Update on commission statement regarding the UH response to executive orders attacking DEI inclusion. The president, Hensel, did address that in her address to the university system. She did state that it was not a top-down university directive, that it was up to departments as far as taking websites down or changing websites. And I do have a meeting with her this Wednesday. Anyone want to add to it or give public testimony?
I'm just grateful that President was able to rearrange her schedule to reschedule the meeting for Wednesday, since Commission missed the meeting last Monday.
Thank you, Camaron. Yes, unfortunately, I went to log into Zoom and my Zoom updated and I was 10 minutes late and she only had 30 minutes to give. So thankfully she rescheduled with me. Thank you. Anyone else?
I just asked that this item be on the agenda for next month so we can have an update from your meeting with the president.
Noted. Thank you. Okay, and then very importantly, our update on Queer Day, which is going wonderfully. And that is in the board packet, but Michael, anything to add to that?
You have everything there. Shanda, are you gonna be able to make it to Queer Day? Or do I need to hook up with you to get the stuff from, for the table?
I am not going to be able to. So yes, we will wait. Yeah, no can.
Okay. All right, that's, so everything you see there, 9 AM, and there's nothing else that, I don't think I have anything else to add. I've updated it. We have 31 exhibitors. My personal goal was 20. And, yeah, so we're gonna be there at 9 AM to start decorating. Tables, thanks to Devin, will be delivered between 9:30 and 10:30. They'll set those up as well. And we go till 1. And so, yeah, and there's already been asking about next year, so we can talk about that at another time.
Michael, can I just ask, what's the parking situation?
Oh, for commissioners, we have parking passes for anybody who wants them. It's, and those are all the lots that are listed in on our the graphics that are on our social media things. Any of the state lots, you can park in any of those lots. Ideally, you'd want a spot in Capitol, but those is good for half a day. And I need to know sooner rather than later if you're going to need a parking pass.
I
Okay.
will.
Okay, so 2 parking passes, and just so everybody knows, 3 for
Me too.
okay, so 3, so total 3 parking passes. We have 50 of them that are good for the next 3 years. We do need to reimburse DHS, I believe, for a couple of parking passes that they gave to us earlier in this year, earlier in our cycle.
Same
So
ones, Michael, we use when we go for the meetings in person to park.
Yeah.
It's the exact thing.
yeah, the exact same thing.
Okay.
These are the exact same parking passes that we have if you come to the commission meeting in person. So just so, yeah, so commissioners know that if you are able to make it to DHS's headquarters for the meeting, you would get a parking pass. So you don't have to pay for that for yourself in those lots. Yeah, we are gonna take, anybody who comes in now has to bring their own table. And yeah, but we will be still accepting things, but the directory's up to date, everything's up to date. If you come in late now, you get added to the directory when I have time. And so,
Michael, just a note, I saw an email come through of someone with some inquiries you might want to check after the meeting.
okay, we'll do.
Can I just see who all's going to be there, just so I know who I'm looking for? Great. Anyone else? Cameron's going. Okay. All right. Well, Janice is going. Yay.
Well,
Janice,
can I?
go or
Can I
to
have
go?
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm not sure yet. I have to find out if I'm going to be. I won't know till that morning.
Okay. I just kind of wanted to get an idea. Anyone else, anything for Queer Day? Other than a huge, huge mahalo to Michael and Devin for getting all this set up in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Oh, Janice said.
I just wanted to thank Celine Chang for representing P-Flag Oahu at Queer Day. Thank you.
Nice.
She's in the room.
Thank you, Celine. Wonderful. And Janice says, I'll be there tabling for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Wonderful, Janice. We'll meet you there. Okay, then public testimony we are moving on to new business. Update from Genders and Sexual Alliances Advisors Meetup.
I request that we table this till the next meeting so we can get through the voting on the other items, so we can take care of that today.
I'm good with that. Do we have to vote on that? Tabling it? No? Okay. Request for proclamation for June 2025 Pride Month from the governor.
In the board packet is a sample, not a draft, a sample thing, because that is what is usually requested. We haven't had one for Pride Month in quite some time. So now that we're here, I think it behooves us to ask for it. There's no guarantee that we'll get it, but I'll at least ask for it. And that's the sample that we would provide to the governor's office when requesting. And of course, they'll make any edits that they want to, should they grant the request. So on that note, I make a motion that we approve asking for a proclamation for Pride Month for 2025.
Have a second?
Second.
Public testimony? Any abstentions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Right, great. Okay, issuing a statement supporting transgender students participating in sports, also in the board packet.
On that, as you saw in the board packet, the impetus was the confirmation hearing for our Commission on the Status of Women Commissioner. Again, Senator Awa went after trans sports, and if you actually watch the video, you can actually hear the reason he's anti-trans and trans people playing in sports is that he wasn't a very good coach when he was a wrestling coach, and he couldn't guarantee his wrestlers scholarships, and he basically says that in a thing. So yeah, anyways, the statement that's provided does not address that at all. It basically affirms the stance that we support trans people playing sports. And so I move that we issue that statement as presented.
Second.
Public testimony? Any abstentions? All those in favor? Thank you. Okay, collecting hate crimes data discussion.
And just real quick, if I may, I believe she's still here. Well done, by the way. That was beautiful, Melissa.
Thank you. That's right.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's Melissa is still here. I'm sorry, did you want to say anything about that? Since it was her confirmation.
Put up with
Sorry,
a lot.
yeah.
You put up with a lot and handled it with grace.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Either way. But it's well worth the watch. She did a great job.
And the link in the board packet should take you directly to the beginning of her confirmation piece. If not, it's towards the end. And it's, yeah.
He was beating a dead horse.
Oh, that's all he does.
Okay. Collecting hate crimes data discussion.
I asked for this to be put on the agenda really quickly. This is going to be a longer discussion than I think we have time for today. But since the bill died, we're basically not going to have anything for at least another year if we get the bill through next year about collecting accurate hate crimes data. This is something that they do in red states. They find that I was on a national call, and they started off with a Google form, just starting to gather data of when hate crimes took place, who were the targets. This did not by any means circumvent them going to the police. If they had a police report number, they'd ask if they're willing to give that kind of thing, and that at least starts us gather some kind of data locally. We may not be the right entity to start this, but I know we're the right entity to at least begin this conversation, especially with the way that the hate crimes bill was killed by the House Judiciary. It sailed through the Senate side, we get to the House side, and it was killed by because they had and all the AG did was that they had comments. They didn't have concerns, they had comments about it. And so the hate crimes bill, for those that don't know, turns 25 this June. And so it is sorely lacking in the gathering of data. Yeah, and we're basically going to need to go back to the board anyways, because they're leaving it up to the FBI to provide training. And as we already know, at the federal level, they don't actually, trans aren't covered by hate crimes, or non-binary or gender non-conforming communities are not covered by the hate crime, will not be covered by FBI at all when it comes to their training. So they have grave concerns about leaving that up to the FBI for the training for hate crimes. So anyways, I deviate, but yeah, so that's the idea of this. I would love you all to think about it, research it. We can talk about it more in length at our May meeting or June. 25 years, yeah, we have time. So, but hopefully that will happen.
Thank you. Does anyone want to add to that? Public testimony? Okay. Beth, thank you so much for being here today. Just wanted to get an update on Hawaii's Department of Education actions taken since they've been asked to sign a certification to end all DEI practices 2 federal funding.
Okay, we have met, and of course, the deadline for that has extended to April 24. Just kind of keeping up to date with it, there are 11 states now that have declined signing that certification. So our AG is looking at what position well, I think we know what the position is. It's just how they're going to wordsmith it at this point. But yeah, it's been of a grave concern, especially in our office. This is the Civil Rights Compliance Branch. And we've been on the Fed watch to see how these things are evolving. And yeah, these are important issues. And I just want to say our superintendent is taking it seriously as well.
Is there anything that we can do? It says not as a commission, but as individuals in our individual capacities or as an individual commissioner, because that we could help to help support anything happening there with this issue?
I think at this point, I really don't have a suggestion to offer. I think what we're really trying to do is it's a fragile balance because we don't want to lose our federal funding for all of the state of Hawaii. And yet that's the threat. So we're pretty much trying to, in candid terms, fly under the radar and hold our position. And our state law, our administrative rules in the Department of Education, our policies, they all support the same issues that we're discussing and support. And so our advice is to stay the course. We don't change anything we're doing.
Okay.
And so, and as such, they're saying that these executive orders, I mean, don't have the impact of law. We are following the federal law. We're following, but our state law is clear. And so are our administrative law rules and our DOE policies. So we are staying the course, and I appreciate the suggestion, and if so, I will be the first to ask in the commission if we could speak up. But at this point, I think we're just trying to see where it goes before we, at least I believe that's the advice that we're being given.
Thank you, Beth.
I mean, it's just hard for me to believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion can be bad words, because that's what we all stand for.
Right. And which this also includes all funding and programming for our indigenous populations as well. So
yes,
they've already attacked the Native Hawaiian grants. Asking us to just wipe all of that out as a state is horrifying.
And
agreed.
And for our disabled students and for all our special needs students, puts all their programs at jeopardy as well. I don't think that's what
Exactly. I mean, if you look at the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, it's all federally funded.
Yeah.
So if we lose the federal funds, then what's going to happen is we're going to have to advocate for state funds to replace the programs that were supported. And that means that state funds are going to shrink. And that's when we're going to really need to do, to be more active in how we're going to, if that happens, we're just trying to balance it. They're arguing that maybe there is wording that they can use that they're looking at these other 11 states. I can tell you the 11 states that are refusing to sign right now: Oregon, Colorado, Michigan, Washington, Illinois, Minnesota, Massachusetts, Vermont, Wisconsin, New York, Pennsylvania. And then under Title IX, we know the actions on Maine, the governor of Maine, which is kind of interesting. But
Thank you, Beth. Your job is not easy right now. Rick.
I just wanted to just go on record as saying for for you, for Beth, for Camaron, for Thad, everybody who's working, and for Signet, I was going to, for all of you guys that are working in these systems, I just want you to know that we are here and supportive of you because you guys are basically the front line right now. And I wanted to acknowledge that. A lot of our ex-officios as well. For the rest of us, we're actually, I mean, none of us can lose our job. And so, that this is, my colleagues from the VA days are calling me daily with horror stories. So I just wanted to acknowledge that those of you who are working and have to, work for the government agencies that are being tracked, like the rest of us don't have a secret police phone number where they bring you in. So, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for that.
All right, you all, we're right at 4:31, so I'm going to move on to adjournment.
Real quickly before we get to adjournment, I just want to remind everybody to share and like everything on our social medias, especially with the Queer Day coming up. And I hope you all liked your introduction graphics. Thanks to Devin. She put those all together for everybody. It was been on my to-do list. It just haven't had time. So thank you, Devin, for making that happen. And they're going to be reposted probably Tuesday as a group, all in one posting on our different social media channels. So again, everybody, thank Devin for that. And without Devin, we wouldn't have had Queer Day either. So
Devin.
Rumor has it she's sticking around. We haven't scared her off yet. So yeah.
Excellent.
Much appreciated.
All right, discussion on adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Testimony. Okay, do I have a movement to adjourn? Did you say, Michael? Do I have a second?
Second.
No seconds. Any abstentions? All those in favor?
Chair, public testimony.
What's that? I thought I said
You call for public testimony.
public testimony. Going once, going twice. All those in favor? All right, thank you all. See you next time. I appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you.
Aloha.